His name means Father of the Angel of Death. Before the battlefield, he was a university lecturer and a taekwondo champion. Abu Israel is now in Tehran, working with the IRGC, preparing for a potential US-Israeli ground operation. The ceasefire is ours, and Iran is already assembling what comes next. One of the most feared militia commanders in the Middle East has reportedly arrived in Tehran as the war between Iran and Israel's closest ally enters a potentially new and trickier phase. Abu Israel, whose name translates from Arabic as Father of the Angel of Death, is an Iraqi commander within the Kataib al-Imam Ali, a Shia militia operating under the Popular Mobilization Forces. His real name is Ayoub Falih Hasan al-Rubayie, born in Baghdad's Sadr city in 1978. Before the battlefield made him infamous, he was a university lecturer and a taekwondo champion. That version of the man is difficult to square with his record. Abu Azrael first took up arms against American forces in Iraq as part of Muqtada al-Sadr's Mahdi army, then against IS across Iraq and Syria. Videos of him desecrating corpses circulated widely and drew condemnation from human rights organizations. PMF factions associated with him were accused of looting, forced displacement, and the persecution of Sunnis. Even his own militia, Kataib al-Imam Ali, reportedly distanced itself from him after one particularly graphic video surfaced. His reported arrival in Tehran comes as Israel has reportedly decided to continue its ground operation in Lebanon despite a ceasefire in place. With Israel having long relied on Washington as its military guarantor in the region, the war on Iran is, for all practical purposes, also Israel's war, and Iran is now assembling its most battle-hardened assets in response. According to sources, Abu Israel is working alongside the IRGC to prepare for potential US and Israeli ground operations. He has also previously declared himself ready to fight Israel directly, claiming in October 2023 to have positioned himself near the Israel-Lebanon border, waiting for what he called any opportunity to cross. Israel has publicly expressed what he thinks about Israel. According to reports, he believes the current war is just a prelude to Israel's expansionist idea of Greater Israel. And Israel has not been shy of its intentions either. After the US President Donald Trump announced the ceasefire on April 7th, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu made a public statement and said that Lebanon was not part of the details, despite the mediator Pakistan claiming otherwise. The message is clear from the Israelis: sign any paper you want, we are not going to stop. His battle cry, long a rallying call among Shia fighters across the region, captures the register he operates in.
Where will you run to? We will chase you until you are ground and become nothing but flour.
Whether his presence in Tehran amounts to a tactical deployment or a calculated act of signaling directed at Washington and Tel Aviv alike remains to be seen. What is not in question is the message his arrival sends. Iran is drawing on every asset at its disposal, and Israel has never been a man who arrives anywhere quietly. Another day, another wave of Iranian missiles rains down on Israeli cities, and the damage tells its own story. Iranian cluster munitions, banned under international humanitarian law by many nations, were intercepted over Ramat Hasharon, but their fragments still fell across residential neighborhoods, causing significant damage to vehicles and property. In the Israeli city of Ramat Hasharon, a missile struck just outside a public bomb shelter, the very place residents had rushed to for safety. The blast overturned vehicles, shattered windows, and scattered debris across an entire residential neighborhood. Heavy machinery was later brought in to clear the wreckage as police and municipal workers surveyed the scene. Local resident Itamar Zaguri described sheltering with his mother when a massive explosion rocked the area around them. To no surprise, Israeli police reported no casualties from the strike. Footage from the scene shows cars flipped upside down, debris fields stretching across streets, and nearby buildings with shattered windows and dented rooftops. Magen David Adom rescue workers and police were seen combing through impact sites. In Tel Aviv, the picture was similarly grim. Shrapnel from Iranian rocket barrages struck at least 10 separate locations across the city, including the Bnei Brak train station in Tel Aviv's eastern district. Israeli Channel 12 reported that the attacks were not launched from Iran alone. Rockets also rained in from Lebanon and Yemen, underscoring the multi-front pressure Israel now faces on a daily basis. Israel's ambulance service MDA reported 2 people wounded across the broader barrage. Israeli authorities confirmed that dozens of sites across the country were struck in earlier waves of missiles. In the northern city of Nahariya, around 10 rockets fired from Lebanon struck the city, with at least one hitting a road directly. Sirens had sounded moments before impact, giving residents precious little time to seek cover. A woman in her 20s was lightly injured, struck by flying stones from the blast. 2 other residents were treated for acute anxiety. As missiles continue to fall, Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian took to social media with a defiant message. Writing on X, he declared that he, along with what he claimed were 14 million Iranians, had pledged to sacrifice their lives in defense of Iran.
More than 14 million proud Iranians have so far registered to sacrifice their lives to defend Iran. I too have been, am, and will remain devoted to giving my life for Iran.
Shelters struck, train stations hit, rockets from 3 directions. And from Tehran, a president speaking of sacrifice, while on the ground in Israel, ordinary people rush to bunkers and count the seconds between the siren and the blast. Iran's war on Israel entered another brutal chapter on April 5th, when a ballistic missile tore through a residential building in Haifa. By the following morning, rescue teams had pulled 2 bodies from the rubble, with 2 more people still unaccounted for. The Fire and Rescue Service and IDF Homefront Command worked through the night. Among the survivors was an 82-year-old man in serious condition, along with 3 others with lighter injuries. The building was at serious risk of collapse, and surrounding structures were evacuated after officials raised the possibility that the missile's warhead had not fully detonated on impact. Israel Police Commissioner Danny Levy told reporters at the scene that teams were deploying every available resource.
We are focusing all efforts on the 4 who are supposed to be here, using all means at our disposal. The warhead of the ballistic missile that struck the residential building may not have exploded upon impact, and therefore we evacuated several buildings, so that in the unlikely case that the missile explodes, nobody will be hurt.
The Israeli Air Force acknowledged it had failed to intercept the missile and opened an investigation into the air defense failure. On April 6th, Haifa was struck again, this time by cluster munitions that sparked a car fire and wounded 4 people, including 2 young girls treated for smoke inhalation. On the northern front, Hezbollah has been firing hundreds of rockets daily since joining the war last month. 6 people were wounded in a rocket attack on Deir al-Assad. The group has also fired more than 165 rockets at UN positions in southern Lebanon, killing 3 Indonesian UNIFIL troops in recent weeks. IDF Chief of Staff Eyal Zamir visited troops at the border and vowed the military would not withdraw until the threat was removed.
Regarding the war objectives at this time in Lebanon, the IDF is establishing a forward defensive line to strengthen defense and push the threat away from northern communities. We will remain on this line as long as required.
Meanwhile, Iran was fighting on several other fronts. The IRGC claimed its forces struck targets near the Mohammed Al Ahmad naval base in Kuwait and a US command facility in the UAE, saying the combined operations had killed or wounded 25 people in the 97th wave of Operation True Promise 4. An Israeli commercial vessel was also reported being on fire after being hit by a cruise missile at Jebel Ali port in the UAE. However, these claims could not be independently verified. Tehran has also been restricting passage through the Strait of Hormuz since late February, requiring vessels to seek IRGC authorization before transit. The Corps warned that what has happened so far is only a portion of its planned response. Bahrain has become the latest flashpoint in a widening regional crisis, after Iranian drone attacks struck key energy infrastructure, triggering fires and raising fresh concerns over the vulnerability of Gulf economies. Bapco Energies, Bahrain's national oil company, confirmed that an oil storage tank caught fire following what it described as a hostile Iranian drone strike. The incident occurred at one of its storage facilities, though the exact location was not disclosed. The company said the blaze has since been fully extinguished, with no injuries reported, and that teams are now assessing the extent of the damage. Earlier, Bahrain's Interior Ministry had reported a fire but did not specify its origin or location. In a separate development, Bahrain's Gulf Petrochemical Industries Company stated that several of its operational units were also targeted by Iranian drones. According to a statement carried by the Bahrain news agency, the attack caused multiple fires across the affected facilities.
All fires have since been fully extinguished and the situation is now under control. No casualties have been reported. Specialised teams are conducting a comprehensive assessment to determine the full scale of the damage.
The attacks on Bahrain form part of a broader wave of strikes across the Gulf region as tensions continue to escalate. Critical infrastructure in the United Arab Emirates and Kuwait was also hit on the same day, indicating a coordinated pattern of targeting energy and industrial assets. In the United Arab Emirates, authorities in Abu Dhabi confirmed that emergency teams were responding to fires at a petrochemical facility in Ruwais Industrial City. The blaze was reportedly caused by debris falling after air defense systems intercepted incoming missile and drone threats. Operations at the plant were immediately suspended while damage assessments were carried out. Officials confirmed that no injuries were reported. Kuwait also reported damage to essential infrastructure, with its electricity and water ministry stating that drone attacks had struck power generation and desalination plants. The strikes caused significant material damage and forced the shutdown of 2 electricity-generating units. These incidents come amid a sustained period of drone and missile attacks launched by Iran in recent weeks. Tehran has said it is targeting energy and industrial facilities in Gulf states, accusing them of supporting US military operations against Iran. Gulf countries have strongly denied these allegations. As emergency teams across Bahrain and neighbouring countries continue to contain damage and restore operations, the absence of casualties offers some immediate relief. However, the repeated targeting of energy infrastructure signals a dangerous shift in the nature of the conflict. With critical facilities now increasingly in the crosshairs, the situation across the Gulf remains highly volatile. As both sides continue to escalate, the risk of further disruption and a broader regional crisis appears to be growing with each passing day.